Cool. So thanks for joining us today, Alan. Could you start with a bit of an introduction to yourself and Relativity6, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Jake, thanks for having me. Excited to be here. So my name's Alan Ringvald. I'm co-founder, CEO of a company called Relativity6. Started the company about 9 years ago, and just a quick history on me. Had started a few different businesses in different industries. Also spent quite a while at Google, and then ended up in grad school, nerded out on everything related to AI. And this was, almost a decade ago. So I guess you could call me like an OG AI person, and decided to basically spin out a research lab out after grad school. Really like building foundational type models and looking for cool, interesting use cases, and found my way into P&C insurance. And here we are. So I have a company called Relativity6. And we focus on providing what we call zero question underwriting for underwriters, basically providing them the data that they need to do their jobs more efficiently.
Awesome. Thank you. So you've come from a non-insurance background and you pivoted to use your experience in AI for insurance. Talk to me about some of the challenges that you see in insurance, some of the challenges underwriters today might face, and particularly some of the opportunities to build differentiation within their organizations.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I say this with all the love and admiration to the P&C insurance industry. Love the space, been working it a long time, have a lot of friends in it now, but you guys are horrible at buying technology, and for very good reason, not great adopters of AI. Every industry has challenges doing it, but I think insurance specifically has some deeper challenges because inherently it's a risk averse space. AI is brand new, and frankly, AI is wild. Yes, it can work once or twice when you use it in ChatGPT, but to create something that is systemic, secure, transparent, reliable, that works every single time is not easy at all. And I think because of that, insurance and AI we haven't hit that inflection point of product market fit quite yet. So that's the challenge, but also obviously I think, as cliche as it is, that's the opportunity, because not enough people have really implemented it at scale, especially on the enterprise side, especially in insurance. And the brave ones that decide to, skin their knees a little bit, continue to experiment, will be the winners, and we'll see some huge gains in the next few years for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. So pivoting slightly, we talk about multi-source data and needing to pull data from various different sources to understand risks, make decisions. What is the role of multi-source external data in commercial insurance? And what's the value of it flowing frictionlessly throughout the value chain?
Yeah, no, for sure. So being in data as long as we have been, just have to be honest and say there's really no such a thing as like a perfect data set, not even close. So really, ultimately, the goal of what we do as a company is to try to provide answers to underwriters, not inundate them with raw data from, all these different sources. So luckily, technology has evolved to the point where now we can grab data from hundreds, thousands of different data sets and different sources, put them all together so that they reason the most likely answer in that moment in time. So actually quite important to be multi-sourcing, to actually be able to leverage data in a way that you can trust it and use it at scale, and use it in an automated way. And I think like in the past, and not even that long ago, companies were relying on one or two like monolithic companies to give them all the data. And that's just not a reality. There's some data sources that are good at certain things and bad at others. So why not put them all together into one place and get the best answer? Easy to say, very hard to do, but being able to do that is really what insurance needs. So multi-sourcing, instrumental in actually doing a good job at data enrichment, in my opinion.
No, it makes perfect sense, and it's a complex question to answer. Why do we need more data than we receive in the submission? Why is one, maybe two, even more than that, more external data sources not always substantial or enough to fulfill a view of risk? So what about AI's role in this? Why is automation so important when it comes to leveraging that external data?
Yeah, no, for sure. As I'll just take like small commercial insurance, just like the evolution of that space, historically seen as kind of a loss leader, very challenging to get profitable there. So the trend has been to automate as much of that as possible. There's a lot of talk about straight through processing, and there is no lack of submissions coming in. There's all these new platforms. Leads are streaming into carriers. So the scale is there. And I think the only way to really like answer that scale and actually try to do things in an automated way is through AI. Again, there's a lot of like specificity to that. I'm not just throwing that like buzzword out there, but the point at a high level is if you want to achieve scale, the only way to really do that, in my opinion, is through some sort of AI implementation. So whether insurance wants it or likes it or not, there is going to have to be a point where they start adopting AI in general and seeing how it can help them with their scale problems.
Yeah, and a lot of the modern discourse on AI is how that is going to have an effect on our roles within businesses, on our workloads, what that looks like moving forward. So, what do you think the effect of AI will be on underwriting roles across the industry? What does the future have in store for how insurance is evolving?
Yeah, again, I think like inevitable, right? There's an inevitability to it just because of what we said, because of the scale. The only way that and also you're never going to want to sacrifice the quality, right? Like insurance relies on underwriting quality, right? You can't just let anything through because ultimately that's going to hurt you in the long run. So there is no doubt in my mind that there will be the adoption, there will be the product market fit. I still think we're early, but it will be just a core tenet of the business. It won't be AI first, even. It'll just start quietly getting integrated into more and more pockets. And I really think that it is happening today, but it's really happening successfully with the on the ground real world problems. And that's where I think the industry in general should be focused on is let's really deeply understand underwriter workflows and where AI can come in and be more efficient. So if there's just going to be undeniable efficiency gains that eventually will make sure that everyone adopts the technology.
Yeah, and we see that across the world, right? We see the AI and LLMs, they're improving in their performance and their accuracy. But I think the thing that's really leading towards AI's use and use in practice is its verticalization, how it's vertically integrated into different tasks, workflows, and that's particularly pertinent to insurance, given the complexity of those workflows and all the different roles within the industry. When it comes to AI, to external data, and to everything we've discussed, I guess rolled into one, can you describe the ultimate goal, the ultimate end state that we should be looking at targeting when it comes to insurance workflows, external data? How should insurers and transformation personas and underwriters be looking at the problem in terms of their end state solution?
Yeah, that's a loaded question with, an answer that, we could be here for 3 hours talking about it, like, and take, use case by use case. But I think if you want to talk like super high level, I think insurance is so well positioned to take huge advantage here for, I think, two key reasons. One, like AI at this point needs proprietary data to be super valuable. And every carrier, every MGA sitting on really interesting proprietary, either whether it's claims data or just customer data that they can train, like, I guess, smaller language models on to answer specific questions. So that's one key core tenet, is proprietary data that insurance is sitting on. And then the second thing is this intimate knowledge of workflows, right? Like anyone can build anything now, but not everybody understands where the key pain points are in certain industries. So I really think that people that like enable the underwriting teams today are in such a great position because they can talk to their underwriting users and understand exactly where maybe like AI could greatly solve an inefficiency that they have, that also, by the way, is not part of their core job or what they should be doing. So I think, I agree with the talking point that everyone kind of, or a lot of not everyone, but a lot of people have, that it's just going to upskill the current people and then let them do the valuable work that humans should always be doing, and letting technology automate the rest and kind of triage the problems to these expert people. So I think it's just going to be a symbiotic relationship, and there's no way that you're always going to trust a machine to answer an underwriting question. But again, there's going to be a place for it in the workflow. It's just a matter of finding out and interviewing your own users. And it doesn't have to be a one size fits all. Not every carrier needs to solve the same problem. So there's going to be a lot of customization in this next era, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like the phrase symbiotic relationship because it does need to be, it needs to be viewed that way. It's not a tool to replace everything that we currently do or insurance professionals currently do. And it's probably more than some of the tools have been treated as in the past. It has more capability to automate and to scale and to, I guess, differentiate the offering of various insurers. So one last question. Talk to me about how Relativity6 is addressing these problems. I'd love to hear some specific examples of some of the data that you guys kind of focus on, maybe an example of a specific use case, just to help really frame everything we've discussed.
Yeah, for sure. So we basically sit in the like post data extraction world where the submission has happened and then you're sitting on this data and it needs to be enriched with more information. So what we do is, and again, it sounds a little, I guess, buzzwordy or kitschy, but we like it, this concept of zero question underwriting, where our mission is to take as little input data as possible. So even just the name or name and address of a business, and give you as much information as you could ever want to know if you were an underwriter about that business. Even if it's like a sole prop or two-person HVAC company, we want to tell you everything about this company. We want to tell you how many people work there, what their revenue is, operations. Do they just do one thing? Did they add anything recently? Anything to do with any adverse media that they've ever had, or like anything to do with their digital footprint or reviews, or really like what we've created is a dossier that is instantly, with just one click, you can basically instantly create a real-time dossier about any business. And that usually fits at submission, inside a workbench, or in some sort of renewal situation. So we're always striving to basically answer more and more of these underwriting questions without the underwriters having to explicitly tell us that this is what they need to know. We're trying to intuitively deliver it for the underwriter. And that's our mission. And that's what we do with a lot of carriers and MGAs today.
Yeah, makes sense. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Alan. That was super illuminating.
Thanks for having me.
Really, yeah, no problem at all. We're really looking forward to seeing how Relativity6 evolves and continues to add that value in the form of data and AI aggregation of data to underwriting. So thanks again and speak soon.
Thanks, Jake.